Hey, my YouTube subscribers. This is the Barrett M98B, and I say that um, as the actual designation because there's two different guns and they can be easily confused. So this is the actual M98B, and as always, we're going to start with our rendered image. So this is what the M98B that I built looks like, completely rendered in wonderful Pavre. And as you can see, this is definitely not a small gun, and it was definitely not an easy one to build either. So this is what it looks like as of right now, and we're going to go ahead and open it up inside of LVD so you guys can get a wonderful view of that. In the background, we did have my website. This weapon is known to be able to shoot a different caliber depending on whatever bolt or barrel system that you put in it, but the one that is used in the Battlefield franchise where I've got the inspiration to build this and is the 338 Lapua. It's a standard sniper rifle round. Almost every sniper rifle that you can think of uses it, aside from the select few. But it's very popular, very easy to shoot, and it's definitely comfortable to shoot. This is definitely one of my biggest models that I've ever built. If you can see right down here, it is so close to being 2,000 bricks. So let me tell you guys that this is definitely almost one of the biggest models I've ever built. And as you can see, there is already a few features that you've probably recognized before. I've used two of these features in previous sniper rifles, and the first one is the scope, obviously. This is the same scope that is from the Barrett 50 caliber M107, and then the muzzle brake is also the same muzzle brake that I used from that rifle as well, but it looks super awesome on this one, so I went ahead and I slapped it on this one. So, as with all my models, we're going to start with the stock, and we're going to work our way forward to the muzzle, and I'm going to emphasize why we call this the M98B. So here we have our stock. This is a really interesting stock. It's got a few different features on it. I've only included one of them. The first feature is that this butt pad should be adjustable. I did not include that. It's just a standard butt pad, nice black rubber rest. Second feature is that this cheek rest should also be adjustable. I also did not include that. It should be, but it is not. The feature that I did include is this monopod right here. This monopod does indeed move up or down. As you can see, it just goes up the entire length of the stock right there, and then it just stamps in with a Takedown Pin, and then you have yourself a monopod. It's got all the necessary holes in it. And then we come into the main distinction between the M98B and the Mrad. If you guys don't remember, I said that there was a distinction between two of them. The Barrett M98B is the very first sniper rifle that they've hosted with this body. The Barrett Mrad is basically the same exact sniper rifle, except it has a folding stock and it has an easier to change bolt system. That one is also featured with a certain color that the M98B does not have. Sorry about that loud engine that went by. So this is the M98B. It does not have a folding stock. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go into our lower receiver down here. So our lower receiver is pretty basic. It's just got your standard little pistol grip here in black. It's got the curved trigger that I started doing here. We have our ambidextrous fire selector there and there. Red for fire, white for safe. We have our 10-round magazine here of 338 Lapua. It's got a little bit of some indentation going on the side here just to make it look good. We have the paddle-style magazine release right there. The magazine is removable, and at the top of the magazine you can see the 338 Lapua bullet right there. Really nicely designed bullet. We have all the curving in the magazine well going on right there. This comes up into our bolt right here. We also have the takedown pin right there that does not actually work, it's just for show. The bolt itself should operate on a rail, so let's go ahead and cock it back. As you can see, the bolt lever itself does lock down behind these bricks here, so you can't pull it back without pulling up on it. When you pull up on it, you've opened up your ability to pull back on it, and then you can pull back to about there. And now you're officially chambering around, and then you can slam it back forward, and you've chambered around. So a fun thing about this weapon is that it features some grooves on the bolt itself, just for a little bit more detail. Shell ejection port does open up like it should. Up here we have our full-length tactical rail up top for our mounting scopes. Of course, I have Allen's Custom Legos scope mounted on this one. This is one of the nicer Lego scopes that I've ever seen built. As you can see down there, you have your reticle. So if you're aiming down the sights, you can kind of get a feel what it looks like aiming down the sights with this. It looks something about like this. That leads into our handguard. Our handguard has tactical rails on either side of it, there and there. It's also got one on the bottom. So you mount your bipod here. You'd mount probably your rangefinder there if it's not on your scope. Maybe a flashlight here. I doubt you'd ever need it though, but just in case, you'd probably mount it there. And if you wanted to build a foregrip on this, even though this is a bolt action, not a DMR, you'd probably never use it with the foregrip. But if you want to put a foregrip on there, you can. And that's pretty much it for the handguard. Nicely curved, nicely shaped. And then we come into our circular barrel. I apologize for the noise that's about to happen. Just wait for it to go by. So, as you can see, we have our barrel, standard kind of like curved barrel going on here. Kind of flares out from where the handguard is there. And then comes into the 50 BMG Barrett M107 muzzle brake here, which looks really nice. It features kind of like the curves going on here, and the curves going on there, curves going on the back. Looks really nice, and if it works for 50 BMG, it'll probably work twice as effective for 338 Lapua. I'm not a bullet expert. I have no idea if that's the truth, but it looks pretty cool, so I went ahead and threw it on there. So that pretty much sums it up for the Barrett M98B. Again, this is not the Barrett Mrad. The Mrad features a folding stock and an easier bolt change, barrel change system, things like that. But this does look a lot like the Mrad, so I just kind of want to make the distinction. This is the M98B. This does come from the Battlefield series. I have a little bit of a crush on the Battlefield series when it comes to guns, because they use a wide selection of guns that Call of Duty kind of like leaves out. Especially this one. Like, the Ballista was a cool gun, don't get me wrong, but it would be kind of cool to see the M98B and the Ballista instead of just the Ballista. Or the MSR, things like that. L96 getting kind of old. I would love to still have it in the game. One extra gun doesn't hurt, but there is definitely the chance that you could put the Barrett M98B in there as well. Anyhow, that's pretty much it for this video, so I'll see you guys later in another YouTube video. If you guys want to see more of this and the HK21 that I also made a review of today, don't be afraid to check out my website at bluejeanthemeister.weebly.com. If you didn't catch any of that, don't be afraid. There will always be a link in the description, no matter the video. If there isn't, I apologize. I didn't get around to doing it, and or I didn't remember. That's pretty much it, though. Thanks for watching. See you later.